So I'm sitting now with my application, and I'm thinking that we should implement a kind of list like this for the categories. So here is an example application that uses a list view and takes out different continents from a database. So I will show you the database. This is it. It has an ID field and a name field. And then it prints it like a list. These are the names and these are the ID. And if you see here, the ID has an underscore and then ID. So we have a problem with our app because we didn't create this ID field for all our fields. So the first thing we have to do is actually to change our table layout. So just close the emulator and just close this project. Then we can go to DB adapter. So let's look at the tables. So the ID field should be the first one and should be underscore ID, like this. So I make an extra ID field with ID. So we had a problem when there were too many fields that we didn't actually get to see what the field was. So instead of having goal, I think I only want the first letter, the G. No, I don't want that. Let's just add an extra ID field for all of our tables, like this one. Okay, same for a user. Same for calorie eaten. Same for food diary. Same for category ID. Food ID. Okay, and then we have to increment the database version. Okay. So what I want now is to actually go through our files and just look for references to the ID fields. So I will start with db asset insert. And here we have I will just start at the top. Category ID should be just ID, like this. Food ID should only be ID, like this. Okay. There's nothing here. Main activity, let's check if we have any references here. Now, sign up. So we have one here. Users ID should only be ID. And here we have one goal. Okay, the next one is sign up goal. Here we have two. Here we have user ID again. Here we have one more. Here we have three. Here we have one more, one more, and one more. Here we have one more. Three more here. One here. Three here. User ID here. Okay, looks great. Let's try to run it now. So I just want to tell you that I upgraded my computer now, and I now have 8 GB of RAM, and I really see the difference with running Android. It loads much quicker, and I can show you in my task manager here that I'm using 74% of the RAM. So if you got problems with the computer being too, or Android Studio being too slow, then you should definitely think about the RAM. And I have an i5 processor, and now my biggest concern is the processor actually. And my disks are really cheap, really fast, because they are SSD disks, and I have 2 of them. Okay, now we go to the sign up. So let's hope that everything works. Oh, it has stopped. Okay. Let's go to terminal. No, Android monitor. Fatal error. Sign up goal 365. And here we have another reference to user ID. Okay, let's try to increment the database version again. Then try another one. So I will just fill in something bullshit here. This, this. Okay, we got very far now. And now we have error in sign up goal 108, and here it is. Okay, so I think we should increment the database to 4. Then launch it. And yeah, now we are good to go. Okay, so I just wanted to add one more field into the database also, and it was for the food. And after manufacturer name, I want like a description, where you can enter free text for describing the food if you want. Okay, everything is good. I will just implement the database version, so we can put in some real data next round. Okay, we wanted to arrange the categories, so we just go to my website. And free courses and Android. The first thing I want to do is to change the titles here. When you go to categories, I want it to say categories. So I will go to my categories fragment. And I have an onCreate class here. onCreate. Just make a comment of it. So here I want to set the title. So I have down here somewhere set title to toolbar. So this is how you do it in the fragment class. just copy that. Main activity, get activity, get support action bar, set title, some other title. And here we want categories. So we can just do this for the rest also. We want to do it for the goal. Oh, ID profile goal, this one we can delete. We actually don't need it. So we can do it for food fragments. So title, food. Next one is goal. So set the title to goal. Then we have home. Here it is. Set it to home. And then we have profile. So just set the title to profile. So we can just run the code now and you will see that the title changes. Okay, email. Date of birth. Height and weight. And target weight. Let's go home. We can go to profile, goal, categories, and food, then back to home. Really cool. So let's start with the categories. We want to take everything from our categories table, which we find here. We want to take the ID and the name, and we want to put it into the list here. So let's start with going to fragment categories. So here we are going to first insert a scroll view. Wrap content. Okay, this enables the scrolling. And I have some more things here. So layout width, match parent, layout height, match parent, fading edge length, 0 dp, fill viewpoint is true, overscroll mode, never, scroll bars, none. Okay, inside the scroll view we want to make a relative layout. Layout width, match parent, layout height, wrap content. Inside the relative content we want to make a list view. ID, list view categories. Layout width, match parent, layout height, wrap content, divider height 1 dp, padding 10 dp. This would create a list like this. Okay, let's go to our categories fragment. So we talked about the onCreate method. We have also a method called onActivityCreated. So the onActivityCreated, it is just an override, public void onActivityCreated bundle saved instance state super.onActivityCreated saved instance state. So this method is actually run when you start the app or go to that this fragment. And I can show you by just writing here on activity created and running the app, and we will see that when we go into the categories with this method, this text will appear. Okay, here you see that it appeared. So we know that this is loaded. Inside here, I want us to query the database and get a list of categories. So I want to do it in a new method called populate list, public void populate list. So on my activity created method, I will use the new method populate list, and it will populate the list of categories. Okay, first I want to open the database connection. So it's db adapter db equals new db adapter get activity and then db open. And remember, this doesn't work, you need to use get activity. Then I want to get all the categories, and it's a simple query. Categories cursor equals db select categories, and the fields are up here, and I want the category parents, I want the categories where category parents equals to 0. Okay, next I want to create an array. So just create an array list of strings, and the array list name is values. Okay, so my problem now is category cursors are a cursor and not an array. So I want to convert the cursor into an array. This is fairly simple. The first thing I do is just to get the size of the category cursors. So I use int categories cursors count, or categories count equals categories cursor dot get count, and then I make a for loop for each item in the categories. I will add the name to the values being the variable we defined up here. So I have for int x equals 0, x to categories count x plus plus. Values.add categories cursor get string categories cursor dot get column index category name. And just for fun, I will actually write out in a toast. This isn't necessary, but it's for fun. The ID and the name, and then I will move to the next category in my cursor. So when we run this code now, it will actually write to the screen all the categories. And here we have it. Bread, dessert, baking, blah blah blah. Okay, next thing is to close the cursor. So it categories cursor dot close. And then this is the most difficult part. I want to create an adapter. So array adapter of strings adapter equals new array adapter string, and get activity, not this, but get activity on android.r.layout.simple underscore list underscore item 1 values. So this is not a layout that you have in your folder, it's an Android layout. And it's just a simple list So if we go back to our fragment categories, it's just a simple list like this, but only with one item, not a sub-item, only item. So if you put simple list 2, you will get a sub-item also. Okay, next is just to use the list. So we take the list view LV equals list view get activity find view by ID list view categories, and this is the one we made in the fragment categories. And we take the L view set adapter to the adapter. This is everything we need to do, and now the list should be populated. Okay, let's run this code. Categories, and here we have the list of categories. Looks really cool. So we can just take this into a comment. Okay, we have the list now. Now we need an on-click event, something happening when we click on the list. So we'll just go for Google. And we will find it. I think this was an example I used. Oh, here it is with fragments. Yeah, this is the example. So I will just search for on-click. How can I set an on-click? Yeah, this is it. So we have our adapter here, so now we will make an on-click event. So we need to import the on-click listener. And this is the list view. Let's try to run this and just see if we get an error or if it works. Okay, let's see. We have a set on click listener, new adapter view on item click listener, override, public void on click on item click, adapter view, arg0, view arg1, int arg2, long arg3. So let's try to create a new method for the on click. So public void list item clicked. Just make a comment here. So we take the list item clicked and run it here. And there's an integer arg2 here, so I think we want to use that one. So I'll try to make it in a toast. Toast, don't make text. And we are in get activity. And then just try to print ID here. I2. Length long. Show. So let's try to see what it says. Categories. So it says ID2 for everything. Doesn't. Oh no, of course not. Length short. Okay, one more time. Categories. ID 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10. Very cool. So this is perfect. So now we just need to do something when the category is clicked. And I'm suggesting that we open a new screen where you get the subcategories. So I'm thinking maybe we should have a new method for that. Or we can use the same, the populate list. I think we will get a new method for it, because we may want to actually have some, the user may want to do some changes to the list. Not only show the subcategories, but also maybe either delete it or change the name of it. So I think we want to go to a new activity. No, let's go for an view and make an edit button up here. So when you click bread, you get to the sub, but you can also edit bread by clicking on an edit button up here. It makes very good sense. Okay. So we have clicked, we have got the ID, and remember the ID here is not the same as the ID in the SQLite database. The ID here is the same as the number from populate list. So I think I want to try to make a category cursor outside so it can be used by all of the methods inside here. So I make a variables here. There's a category cursor. Okay, just to see if that works. Yeah, no errors. And then I don't want to close the cursor because I want to use it. So this will be try to use the cursor now, pick the ID from here, from this one. So this is a toast text. So I'll try to get the name. And I will do it by going to category cursor, move to the arg2, and then get the ID and the name by this, and I will just check if this works. I'm not sure if it works, but it would be cool if it did. Categories. It stopped working. And why didn't it work? So if I move it to number 1, let's check if that works. Okay. We'll try it up here. Oh, so it doesn't work here either. So that's okay. Move to position. Yeah, let's try to move to position number 1. This worked. Okay, let's go back to list item clicked and try to move to position with it from the on click. Let's try to write the ID and the name. Fruits and vegetables, yeah. And now we click on snacks. Snacks. Bread. Bread. Okay, so this is the list item click, item event click. So we move the cursor to this ID. Get ID and name and cursor. So string name will be number 1 here. Okay, so now we can move to what did we decide for? We wanted to move to a subclass. So we'll make a new method, and then here I will call populate list sub. And it will take the int ID, no, the string ID, the string name, and this will be the parent ID, and the parent name. So populate list sub ID name. Okay, so now we want to do a new SQL equation SQL. So we just copy everything from populate list. So I see that we didn't do the DB close here. So I want to do the DB close. Just copy everything inside here, and we will make a new cursor here. Cursor, sub cursor. And remember, the category's parent ID is now parent ID. So let's try to just print them. Cursor count. Memory string of values. Blah, blah, blah. Make an adapter. Set the list. Make an on-click listener. I don't should do that yet. Okay, let's try this now. So in categories, we have clicked. Oh my god. I didn't expect it to work. Bread. Yeah, here, the bread here. That's correct. Let's get rid of the text here. Categories. Dessert and baking. Meat, chicken, seafood doesn't seem right, but let's just inspect the database. Categories. So it's fruit and vegetables, and it is, yeah, it's correct actually. Dessert and baking is number 6, so they should have number 6 here, not number 2. So let's go to the DB, no, the setup insert. So this is dessert and baking. It will be number 4. So not number 3. So and drinks will be number 9. Fruit and vegetables, they are here, it's number 12. Health, is number 16. Meat, chicken and fish, number 20. Dairy and egg, number 24. Dinner, number 28. Cheese will be number 35. So this should be 36. No, it's 37. And then snacks is 41. So let's just go to give adapter and increase to number 6. Categories. Okay, so now if we go to the certain baking, we did get nothing. Certain baking is number 6. I don't know why I wrote 4. Okay, do any of the other work? Drinks, yeah. Fruit and vegetables doesn't work. Because it should be number 11. So I really should have just made a script for this or something. A for loop or something counting. This is so silly. Doing the count. Health, yeah, it works. Meat, yeah. Dairy, yeah. Dinner, yep. Cheese, yes. On bread, yes. Snacks, yes. Okay. Okay, so we have clicked on snacks now. And now we can click on bread. So it uses the same on-click method from the last time. So I don't think actually we need the populate list for 2 of them. I think we should use the same for both. I'm not sure if this will work. But I want the populate list to be parent ID, parent name, and that the first is no. It has no name because it's the parent. And the next it should have a sub. So let's try to remove this one. Categories. Well, at least we clicked, but nothing happened. I think it has to do with this method. If id equals to 0, then we'll do this method. If not, we will not do this method. Oh, yeah. I understand. This is the reason. We need to send it to ID here in the DB select. But I want to only have the onClick one time. So we said if parent's ID equals to 0, then you can use it, or if not, then don't use it. Categories drinks, soda. Very cool. Bread, cereals, very cool. Cheese, cream cheese, nice. So we wanted the edit icon to go here, and I want to change the title here. Let's change title and just go to my site and write title. This is the code for the title. The title should be the name. Drinks. Oh, it's soda. So we should have the edit here. And I think I want to know if it's its parent or not also. So let's first find out if it's parent or not. So let's add the parent ID. We have here parent ID. So I think now is a good time to stop this video because it's been very long. There's a lot of things to do, and I think next time I will add a plus here for adding new, and then we also can change the name of the category or delete it if you want to. So we can go to drinks and actually delete drinks. So plus edit and delete and a new button here. Okay.